Hi guys, today's video, I'm hoping you add this to your notes. This is actually a graphic organizer on different ways we can do slope. Remember, when you have lines, and we're talking about straight lines, we can have several different types of slope. We'll start out in the center. Any line that goes from low to high and it's increasing left to right is going to be a positive slope. Any line that's decreasing left to right is going to be a negative slope. All horizontal lines have a slope of 0, and all vertical lines have a slope of undefined. And now we're going to look at the different ways to find slope in our problems. Remember, in any equation, slope will be represented with the letter M. So like on this one, slope is the rise over run. Well, let's see where they cross. I've got a point here and it's crossing there. It goes up 1 and over 1, 2. So my slope there is just 1 over 2. Make sure on a graph you do the rise, the up and down, over the run. So up and down is on top, and then left and right is on bottom for every graph. If you had the slope formula, the slope will equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So on these points, let's label them first. This is our first point, so this is x1, y1, and this is x2, y2. Now what we're going to do is plug them in. So y2 minus y1, negative 1 minus negative 2 over x2 minus x1, 2 minus 0. That comes out to positive 1 over 2. Now, going to the bottom. Remember, since slope is the change in y over the change in x, let's come over to this table and let's do the change in y's first. So this one, from negative 4 to negative 3, it goes up 1. 3 to 4, it goes up 1. Negative 2 to negative 1 goes up 1. Negative 1 to 0 goes up 1. So every time my y values are increasing by 1. Now let's look at our x values. From negative 4 to negative 2, this one's increasing by 2. Negative 2 to 0, this increases by 2. 0 to 2, increasing by 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. So slope, the change in y over the change in x's, the change in y's are all 1s. And then the change in x's are 2, so we get a slope of 1/2. Another way to say slope is rate of change. The last thing we'll look at is this equation right here, y equals mx plus b. The slope is going to go right here for m. And remember, the b, this is our y-intercept. The y-intercept is always going to be the point where x is 0. So, to get the equation for, and we're just going to use the sample over here, we've got y is equal to my slope, which was 1 over 2, times x. And then you could put plus, but I look over here and I see that this y is negative 2. So you could put as plus negative 2 or just as minus 2. Because it crosses at 0, negative 2. So this is our slope graphic. You may want to keep this handy while we're doing slope. I know all of my kids in class are going to keep it in their math binder and keep it out and accessible. So please keep a copy of it and use it often. Whenever we're dealing with slope, you're going to deal with it in one of these ways.